Okay, how about now? Is audio better now? I'm continuing to talk, so there is audio to be determined whether or not it is better now. Okay, first off, did you guys hear Sleepy Developer's deck talk message? I just want to know that. So, no. Okay. So, it did actually play. So, the reason you didn't hear it is the server side deck talk is muted, but the office side deck talk is muted during the intro because the full office audio stream is muted during the intro and then automatically unmutes in the last 5 seconds. So that's why. So you probably heard First Wing Armadas because I think that happened in like the last 4 seconds. So the more you know. Sorry, Sleepy, thank you for the 100 bits. First Wing Armada, thank you for the Prime sub and for 14 months. That's, there's a marker on my finger. 14, that's 8 and 4 and 2. 14 months, I appreciate that. Ben, thank you for the raid there. And G-Pin, thank you for the tier 1 sub and for 23 months. I appreciate that.
With Prime. They've subscribed for 43 months. And says hi. End of line.
32, and then 8, and then 43.
Nakalak, with Prime.
Thank you for the 43
They've
months.
Subscribed for 34 months and says here to celebrate 34 months of this nonsense with technical difficulties on both of our streams today. Hooray. End of line.
Ben, thank you for the 34 months of a Prime sub. I appreciate that. I have no idea what the Blair Witch noises were. First off, I've never seen that movie, so I don't know what that would even describe. Second off, though, you shouldn't hear any noises, except for the music during the intro. So, all right. You don't see any DECWriter. It's right there. It's huge. I don't know. Oh, wait, no, you said, oh, my brain merged words. Never mind. Okay. All right. So, wait, that wasn't, wait, what now? 34 months is nonsense. Subscribe for 34 months. Double thumbs up. Oh, okay.
CHER 100 rate is redundant array of inattentive duffazes. End of line.
Chloe, thank you for the 100 bits. Okay. Let's look at
Ryan
what
Van
we have
Mass
going on.
Right with Prime. End of line.
Ryan Van Mass, thank you for the Prime sub and for the first time. I appreciate that. Let's go over some stuff. So, first off, fourth drawer thing, because, you know, the others were definitely totally full. Actually, I bought that a while ago to complete the quadrants, and I just never hung it up. And this morning, I put a lot of capacitors into that one. I was able to merge a few more values into existing drawers than I anticipated, but yeah, it's a lot now. So first, you should know that the majority of these have 2 values in them. Actually, let's just go look at them. So yeah, we got a lot over here. Let me unbrighten that just a touch. All right. So just kind of picking one at random here, okay? Some of these have a whack ton of capacitors in them now, because I have this new rule. Anytime I buy capacitors, I have to buy $10 worth, or was it $5? No, $5 worth of that value at minimum, or at least 10 of them. So that meant that some of these I bought 60 capacitors of, like this one. That's 4.7 UF, 25 volt right there. So I got a lot of those.
RT subscribed at tier 1. They've subscribed for 36 months. End of line.
Fnord, thank you for the tier 1 sub and for 36 months. Lost Mike? I don't believe you. I see it bouncing over there. Anyway, no, they're sorted by whatever order I got them in.
MERLEN 41S subscribed with Prime. They've subscribed for 22 months, currently on a 1-month streak. End of line.
Merlin, thank you for the Prime sub and for 22. That's right, 16, 22 months. I appreciate that, Merlin. Okay. Yeah, so no, it would be cool if I could sort them by any other means than when I bought them, but that doesn't really work because I'm not building out a specific kit. Although, I have acquired some kits. Here is a resistor kit of through-hole values, just so that I have some on hand. And then more importantly, here's a second resistor kit with 1 watt resistors. So these are chunkier, and we're going to need some of these, well, one of them, for an upcoming project. We'll also need a new 1UF Y2 class cap for that I put up there. I've started putting up some other things like the pots from the Roland MC303 that were extras are now up there, and I'm going to start putting ICs up there, mechanical, electromechanical there. I'm putting film caps here, so the extra capacitors that I didn't use from the Dasher stuff are in there now, because I ordered all of the film caps for the Dasher, but I just didn't need them, so I didn't change them out. So yeah, goes back to bed, tries again tomorrow. That's no problem, Ben. It happens. So yeah. That's too much money for capacitors. Yeah, I spent $200 on the last cap order. It was horrible. Apparently it's just going to be like that now. And I really want to do that because I'm concerned about the availability of these in the next 5 to 10 years. So I want a hoard. Literally. So yeah. The thing though that was the biggest driver of this was I ordered a cap set for the Visual 200. And the Visual 200 kind of sucks because almost every single capacitor, I think there's like, let's say 17 different values of capacitors in that. They all only need like, I think there is 1 or 2 ref designators that use the exact same value. So every single other one is different.
You want a horde? Won't that many people running to the office cause filming issues? End of line.
Yeah. Chloe, thank you for the 100 bits. You have a VT220 now. What do you need with lesser terminal? The lesser terminal works. I was told smoke came out of the VT220 after work was done to it. So I'm not super optimistic about that. So yeah, so there were, yeah, some of these are absolutely hilarious because like this one in particular, all that, I needed one. I ordered 50 of that value, so 60 of others. But yeah, so I have some of these DigiKey bags, and I'm leaving them in there because these have the customer reference designators on there, so I don't have to go like look at CapsWiki. But yeah, these are all of these bags just have one cap. The Visual 200 is ridiculous. So anyway, yeah, that was a big driver here. So I have a handful of projects set aside now that I ordered caps for. Because I figured I might as well include a bunch in this order. So, Visual 200, Game Gear, Tech 7904, those are all up for, recapping now. Tech 7904 needs the Y-Class cap and a 1-watt resistor, because it's really weird. I think there was something else I ordered caps for, but now I don't remember what it was. Nope, I don't remember. I'm pretty sure I did, though. So anyway, here are the caps for the DECWriter 3. We need 2 of these. This is, you'll notice, though, those are not axial. Strange, huh? Well, these are what we actually need, it turns out. So yeah, you'll remember eventually. Well, the thing is it doesn't matter because I organized away all the caps.
CHER 100. It will come back to you. Probably just as the outro finishes. End of line.
Yeah, well, that's fine. It doesn't matter. Chloe, thank you for the 100 bits there. But yeah, so the caps are put away so that they are ready. The only caps that I have not put away now are also for the dot. I haven't gone through that because I have caps for that we just need to put in at some point. Belts are apparently never going to happen for the dot. I've had an open order for belts for like 2 months and they've never fulfilled it. So I'm starting to think belts are going to be impossible to get. So that's exciting. He organized it. He'll never find anything out. Yeah. So Q-Log sent me single FCHBA 366 Q box with no additional packaging. Oh, well, so Matt, no, that was full of caps, but now there's only one. That's what I'm saying is I ordered 50 of that value of capacitor, but I need one. Because that's what it took to get to $5 worth. Let's see. Let me track. Oh, yeah. So apparently some of you didn't have a daylight savings time or whatever. Yeah, I don't know what that is. So sorry. Doomsday prepping, but for electronics. Yes, exactly. All right, Visual 65 keyboard. Ooh. Let's see. All right. Is there anything else to go over here? Some other stuff. I guess this is one. These are Max 232 breakout boards. So we can do an RS-232 interface maybe on the DECWriter 2. That was kind of one of the other things, but that was ordered through Amazon instead. Turns out, by the way, it's really hard to get BNC jacks like this in the 75 ohm pin size. I've been having a heck of a time trying to find that. These are something I'm going to need. So yeah, that's fun. Superior AZ time zone? It absolutely is, yes. You get some belts for a little Panasonic. Yeah, I wish this was that easy. These are toothed. So, yeah, all right. DECWriter 3. Let's take a look at where we're at and what we're doing. So, way down here is the DECWriter 3. They're toothed and like weird, apparently. All right. So this is the power supply for the DECWriter 3. These caps are too high voltage for me to be able to reform. These we could possibly reform. We'll take a look at it. They're only 14,000 millifarads, so they're not that bad. And then we have these two capacitors right here. These are 180 UF 40 volt DC caps. So that's why I have 180 UF 63 volt DC caps here. And we need to get these out and replace them. But it was pointed out to me after stream that there is something funky about these capacitors. Now, I won't be able to show you this until we remove these, but if you want spoilers, you can look up the part number on the side next to the stripe there, because these are Sanguamo 672D capacitors. They have 3 legs, 1 on the top, 2 on the bottom. The one on the top is no connect, and it's just for mechanical stability. Turns out these are intended to be mounted axially, but they still connect and function radially internally. So I don't know why DEC did this, but I ordered axials, and I'm a little concerned here because that's not gonna fit super great there, but it'll probably be okay. Or I ordered radials, but yeah. So we need to get those out, which means we need to remove this board, which is going to give us access to these caps, which means that we can attempt reforming them, which means I got to find out if that setup works, because I've messed with a lot of stuff. So yeah, we got some work to do. So let's start by taking out the power supply board, and then we'll put it up on the electronics bench and see where we can go from there. So we have a connector here, a connector here, and a connector here. These, nope, they're all different. So we can easily remove all of those without concern. I think the ratchet driver without a bit will be the correct size for this. Yep. All right. Let's get this thing removed. I was supposed to have all those capacitors Friday last weekend, by the way. Streams were weird over last weekend because of that, because they kept getting delayed over and over and over again. I didn't get them until Monday, which was very annoying. Would have been fun to have them on that day. I was half tempted to open the package on camera. Next time I might. Other than it comes with like packing slips with information in them I don't want shown, because it's so many capacitors. Oh my gosh. All right, let me get all these plugs unplugged. This plastic's only, 40 years old, but it's still not very agile as opposed to DECWriter 2 that's, I said 40, this is 50, right? It's 80s. No, that's 40. Yeah, the DECWriter 2 is 50, which is just crazy. Okay. These aren't screwed through the bottom. I'm not exactly sure what's going on there. What else is holding this down? Oh, there's one in the dead center. There we go. One DECWriter 3 power supply. Okay. I did not prepare a space. All right, enjoy looking at this 16500C for a moment while I do some quick cleanup over here. Do the old caps all still work? No, we're about to replace 2 of them. The giant ones will most likely work, but we're going to massage them a little bit first to give them the best chance to. You know what? We might do that without the computer control. Just because I think they're really going to be fine, but we'll look at it. Because I really don't want to mess with setting all that up today when we're doing a 2-hour stream. By the way, tomorrow's stream is only going to be 3 hours long. I have I'm going to call it an appointment. A half an hour before stream would normally end, so I'm going to end stream an hour early to be able to make it there. What am I picking up this time? Why is it not like normal people things? Like maybe I'm getting an oil change in a car, you know, who knows? Why does it have to be I'm buying a thing? Am I dying? It's not that one, no. Reporting to management, yeah. Letting someone else change my oil. It's not like there's anything particularly fancy about changing the oil.
Laura Goose at CHER 100. If you are getting your oil changed, I'd recommend a different doctor. And a line.
All right. The biggest problem thing over here is the tape reader. Which I want to move to under the DECWriter 2, but somebody put a bunch of cables on the floor over there and hasn't been into the office to organize it all away yet. Ah. All right. It would have to be a very extended warranty. Ah. Okay. One power supply board. And 2 resistor capacitor legs. I'm not exactly sure how those ended up there. Oh my gosh, so weirdly, I mean, it probably doesn't seem it, but it's actually pretty all organized away. I gotta get all my probes out for this. So again, here are the new caps. The logic analyzer, another name for an oscilloscope? No. They serve different jobs. A logic analyzer shows you zeros and ones. An oscilloscope shows you analog data. They're not interchangeable. All right. We're going to reform those 2. These are 250 volts. There's nothing I can do about that. So they probably will not have degraded down to a voltage I can even approach. So it's nothing we can do there. There's no refas or anything in there, so that's fine. Everything over here goes into a giant box that I don't really feel like opening, so there's nothing we can do about that. So we're just going to remove these 2 caps, I think, and then look at these, which are probably, yeah, they're screwed in. There we go. Why am I looking for a screwdriver? I'm going to desolder. You don't unscrew capacitors. All right. So flip this over, and then we can see these weird 3-pin caps. Just why? Oh, man, they're in a huge ground plane, and the legs are folded over. Thanks, DEC. That's going to be so much fun to remove. Oh. All right. Desoldering iron it is for giant thermal mass. Oh. One moment. I don't want to make you throw up while I bump this a whole bunch. And air compressor. Okay. Henry desoldering blow torches? I have no idea what you mean by blow torch. I have a Metcal DS1. It uses a vacuum that allows me to just heat the area and pull the solder out. Oh, it takes a while to heat up that tip though, because it has a lot of thermal mass. Yeah, I could do that Vorpal sword, but I'm not. It'll be fine. That's the thing, knocks over stuff. Okay. Let's see. Are we melting? No, why? It's showing error. I may not have it connected all the way. Hold on. It wasn't actually... Oh, yeah. It didn't even remotely close to plug in. One moment. Metcal type F connectors are weird. They're like semi-threaded, semi-not. You technically clamp down onto them. Come on. Oh my gosh, is that gonna work? No. There we go. Okay. All right, well now it needs a second again because that wasn't actually heating. Small ones are visibly bad. Oh, man. Just do a little organizing here, I suppose. Trying to decide how I want to put some stuff in there. So like, here are all the leftover parts from the CM153. There are a lot of like ceramic capacitors in there. And I don't know how much SMD I really want in that, because it's not a good way of storing or sorting them. The binders were really a lot better. For resistors, I already have a binder going, so I could use that, but for capacitors, I don't. But on the other hand, it's not like it's running out of space that fast, so maybe I just should get it over with. The way I'm labeling everything, I can undo it later if needed, so maybe I just should put them in there. You know what? I don't need fax paper rolls over there. So why are they? Well, they were there for the dot, but dot is currently not doing anything. All right. Let's see. Just working on DECWriter 3 about a week ago. Previous owner burned a hole in the board trying to replace transistor. Good grief. All the leaves are super bent over on those two. Fun. It's a good substitute for MS-DOS, a little more modern. Linux. All right. See what we can do. That's not even close to focused camera. There we go. All right. Are we melting? Not really. Why not? Because the switch is in the down position. I've heated up my iron. Oh my gosh. This is still not connected. Dude, what? All looks right. Could be the back end of that? No. What on earth? Wait a minute. It was option B. So, the Metcal MX 500 base station has two outputs. And there's a switch. You slide it up and down to go between them. The switch was oxidized. That's why it wasn't heating up. It wasn't the connector not making connection. It was the switch. All right, you know what? While that's heating up, eventually, now for real this time, I promise, maybe, let's go ahead and just do a quick check that the parts that look like they're probably ground are actually ground. Because these caps are, again, weird. One day, the camera will be able to focus on shiny objects. All right, so beepity beep beep. Okay. So here, if this is plus, this is minus. Ooh, I don't like that. Okay. Weird. Okay. So minus, no, minus. No, well, that could be different rails. No, it's pretty clearly labeled on the caps themselves. I'm not as concerned about that. Are the two caps both connected to the same ground? No. Interesting. Okay, we will definitely have to pay attention to the orientation of these. Man, these are wonky. Or I could just label them. Hold on, let's just do that. Sharpie minus and minus. Yeah, that'll work. Okay. So you label it on the solder, and then it'll easily come off later. All right. How about now? Will you melt solder now? Are you kidding me? It's green. There we go. Okay, I apparently was barely pushing it. All right. This is fun. I think we need to get some fresher, lower melting point stuff on there. There we go. That is a very rigid capacitor leg. Yeah, the leg is just bending the tweezers. I removed basically all of the solder from under it. There we go. Getting leverage. That's working. And that leg's completely loose. All right. Next. And that one's loose. Helps these aren't plated through holes. So needed to be done with the DECWriter. Thought it was working. This is a DECWriter 3. It's yet another one. Because life is funny. And also later we're going to mod the DECWriter 2 to have RS-232. But that wouldn't be a repair, so the question's still valid. The 3 is normally RS-232, yes.
A swarm of dead insects, says DECWriter 4, the Phantom Menace CHEER 101. End of line.
You say that, but I do want a DECWriter 4. I just know that I should never buy one, because why? DECWriter 4 is tabletop like a typewriter. But I think it's closer to VT100 support, if not proper VT100 support, which is why I want one. All right. We should, in theory, be able to remove this. Oh, no, they are through a hole. Oh, okay. And there we are. So here is the wacko capacitor with the leg that's just... Let me just stomp on it on the floor to show my frustration now. So we got the weird leg bent over. In this one, it's taped down. We can also see the plug is bulging, I believe. So, and it looks like it may have just started to crack there. So this one was not too far off of failing catastrophically. So, yeah. Also, Swarm, thank you for the 101 bits there. So that one can go. And I'll go ahead and get its replacement ready. So there are 3 legs, 2 in 1. One is no connect. It's just mechanical.
They've subscribed for 44 months, currently on a 37-month streak, and says up to 44 months now, 4 more till 4 years. End of line.
Flare Spire, thank you for the 44 months of Tier 1 sub there. I really appreciate that. Okay. So negative goes to the edge of the board. Yeah, it'll work well enough. The other one's going to be a little sketchier. All right, now we get to use the other iron. And we'll just tack that down. Okay. And with the giant screws on here, clearly clearance is not an issue, so we're not going to trim this crazy flush. We're just going to make it convenient flush. How about I use actual side snips? There are some. So PC Magus, exactly one capacitor has ever failed on camera on Tech Tangents, and it was not catastrophically. And it wasn't the capacitor itself wasn't actually visible on camera. Okay, on to the next one, which kind of second guessing. No, that is definitely negative. Okay. All right, so this one, the legs are still folded over. Okay, that's okay. Sure. Let's actually switch the iron over to that. Would have been a lot cooler if it was catastrophic. Not really. Not in what it failed in. Tannin drives don't spring to mind. Oh, well, that's not electrolytic, which was kind of the context that I was aware of. That one, okay, 2 capacitors have failed. Well, 3 technically then. Because, yeah, that was a capacitor, just a tantalum. Come on. These are short and bent over, which is a fun combination. All right. That should give me a lot more clearance. Yeah, I guess I can try and get the camera closer. It's just I feel like there's a extra possibility of it getting in the way with this one. Come on, focus. Or just don't. Gosh, these are such thick legs. Okay, that'll have to do. I may have damaged the copper, but hopefully I only scraped off some of the solder. Air compressor really wobbles the video. Never noticed that before. I can help that by pushing on that table a little. Now the 2 tables are not touching. Normally I don't I don't work on this surface. So I have the camera mounted on this one because if I bait on the other table, you won't see that. But I had rearranged some stuff and had pushed them together and they were touching. So now they are not touching. So we'll see if that helps. something to wiggle that as I was doing that. Oops. I think that is loose. Okay. Now the next pain in the butt one. Oh, that one's in a really bad position for this method. Switch is really bad. Oh, ketchup. Okay, I'm seeing your question now. So, yes. There we are, better. This is fine. So the way that it works is they will add solder over the entire board to increase the thickness of the traces, and then on some of them they will put the solder mask on there, and that leads to it crinkling because the solder mask does not go on smoothly. So that's what that is. That is perfectly normal. Wait, that one's already loose. That's hilarious. Okay. So we just have one left. Which could use some fresh stuff. What they cut off is so short, I might not even be able to bend it. So this is going to be fun. I might just have to yoink on that one and hope for the best. And there we are. No more wobbly video. If I pull on this to make the two tables touch, I couldn't do it in time. All right, so this is the worse off of the two caps as well. So it's the ones buried down in there. All right, I'm going to grab my other set of tweezers that I have bent to be weird, and I'm just going to hook onto that and... That one's going to be a pain in the butt. So I think if I pull this direction, I might be able to get it out. There we go. Boom. And this one, it might have failed just a little. It may no longer be good. Yeah. All right. It didn't get down to the board. It just went up the jacket.
I think you might be using the tweezers incorrectly.
So
CHEER 100 dot and taking a leaf out of closed book dot. End of line.
I think you might be using the tweezers incorrectly. Not these tweezers. These are my specially modified tweezers. These ones have one job, and that's yoinking capacitors, whether they be weirdo axial folded ones or SMDs. Really, actually, I should probably take a file and just like make these razor sharp to get directly under stuff. And they are rhomboid heat sinks because they're going around TO2 packages. That's why. What's wrong with pliers? What pliers look like that? All right. So negative is the left side. Yep, those two are joined. Cap said, bleh, yeah. So nice job completely. TO3, you're correct. No, because pliers would grab in the corners like that. You would have a very, very small amount of contact area and they would just slide off like that. Whereas these, I hooked underneath of that, and then it's basically impossible to pull it out. All right. Now to see if I can fit this cap down in there, because I did not have the board with me when I picked these out. And did not document the diameter correctly, it seems. That'll do. Did I do any reforming? Not yet. I'm going to attempt to reform these two capacitors. Unfortunately, the big ones down here are 200 volts. I don't have anything I can go up that high. The highest voltage power supply I have is this 50 volt one right here. Although technically that one thinks it can go up to 60, but it's really not good at it, and it doesn't matter. It's not going to make a difference. So I can only do these 1/4 of their full voltage, and the reality is that they probably haven't degraded that far. I bet they're still fine up to 50 volts. So there's not a lot I can do about that. So we're going to have to just run those and hope for the best. But those ones I will reform up there. All right. Vorpal Sword, they themselves installed capacitors touching the heat sinks. So. Diode bridge power up nicely. No, because, well, I mean, actually with a variac. Wait a minute. With a variac in a rectifier. Wait a minute. Probably no power up today. It shouldn't take that long to do it. I'm going to kind of quickly reform these caps. You said you powered this thing on already, didn't you? So we really don't need to try that hard for reforming. Matter of fact, it may not even do anything to reform it. They're right there. Yeah. So they'll probably reform shockingly fast. Well, I mean, that's probably not the best turn of phrase to use, but they'll reform extremely fast because they're probably already formed. Dim bulb is never the answer. I'm just going to say that. I am very against dim bulb. Okay, very against is a little strong, but it's not, there's no point. Okay, actually I should put this blade back in the box cutter. Let's remove these. So the PCB is marked. I like that someone Sharpied positive on these because they don't actually say it on the jacket. It says it on the bottom of the capacitor. Wow. All right, look. Now this time, let me get the screwdriver out to remove these capacitors because these ones we do that. Maybe that's why I was thinking that earlier. Why is dim bulb bad? Because it's not reforming. That's not what it does. It is a completely different concept. Dim bulb does not slowly bring up anything. All dim bulb does is maybe prevent a short from blowing something else out. That's it. Oh, what is dim bulb in this context? People will put an incandescent light bulb in series with a electrical device that they're going to test. And the theory is that the filament in the bulb changes resistance as current passes through it because it is a non-linear device. Filament bulbs are weird. Let's just leave it at that. So the idea is you put the bulb in series with the device that you're going to power, and then if the device shorts, it will pull more current through, which will heat up the filament in the bulb, which will increase resistance, and then the bulb should end up consuming all of the current instead of the device. So you're trying to offload shorted current to the dim bulb tester. In practice, I'm not really sure what that gets you, because all that does is maybe protect you if there was a failure. So in theory, it could potentially prevent me from popping a breaker, but that's it. That's the only thing. All right, this is the 50-volt power supply. Just out of curiosity, since you did power this, let's see what voltage there is on here. Usually use a variac for power. Yeah, but variac is not applicable to switch mode power supplies because you need to reach the control voltage for it to be able to begin to generate the voltage loop. So again, that is actually the main reason I'm against dim bulb testers, because people use them inappropriately with variacs for stuff like this. The only device I have ever powered up with a variac that a dim bulb tester would have been useful for is that HP frequency counter, because it's from the 60s and it's all linear. Yeah, it's for tube gear only, essentially. Exactly. Okay. All right, 0 volts. So there's something in the circuit that discharges it. That's not unsurprising. Okay, so these are 28 volts maximum. We could do this with either power supply, but doesn't really matter. They have the same current resolution. Probably wouldn't be all that useful for switching supply. Exactly, yeah. Toronto, I'm glad. That's what I'm here for. depending on the wattage bulb you select, provides a degree of current limiting to the device under test. Yes. But a fuse also does that. So it's weird. It seems like it's going to be more helpful than it really is. That's my main concern, is that people inappropriately apply them. Can you reform two capacitors in parallel, or is that a bad idea? You can, but then your results are not discrete. I would always prefer to do them separately. But if you go back to my capacitor reforming video, where I believe I linked the DoD capacitor reforming guidelines, they do say to do it in parallel, and then do, you know, that whole math thing to figure out what current you would use to go across multiple capacitors. But I do not prefer to do it. They're also talking about new old stock ones. I'm always reforming ye old skanky capacitors, so I don't really want to mix up my results or make it any more complicated than I have to. I just want to know, is this cap good? And the best way to do that is to isolate. All right, we're going to use these because these are too small for the banana jacks, and I can clip onto here like that. Chloe, there's a big difference between me doing math and me making a computer do math, okay? Alright, do I have any binder clips free? Because I've kind of used them all up, I think. Drat, I need to... Dude, I swear I ordered like a bajillion giant binder clips, too. Man, where'd they all go? I have to order more. I like them too much for cable management, but I only see 2 over here. Like, where are all the rest of them? I must have them in a drawer somewhere, but I don't know where. Stupid organizing. Everything should just be on the floor where you can see it. Oh, well. All right, positive. All I was going to do is cable manage this to be held in place so it doesn't wiggle around. It's not that critical. Actually, can I do it with a C-clamp? I think I can. That'll work. Positive and negative. Okay. Also, that allows me to isolate this, and then power supply. Newest on top, usually in piles, yeah. You have a series resistor in use, so we're gonna not do that. We're gonna do bad capacitor reforming this time. So we're gonna use the power supply, and we're gonna do this ye old-fashioned style. In theory, I could even use this one, but we're just gonna do this digitally. So no current limiting. I'm just gonna limit the voltage. I messed with the GPIB stuff when I removed the 16500C, and I don't actually know if it's connected. And I would like to try and turn this on today, but we only have 47 minutes. And if I attempt to look at the GPIB stuff, that time is going to vanish. So I don't want to do that today. So we're just going to do it this way. It'll be fine. Again, these were just powered in circuit before I picked this thing up. So reality is I'm not going to be the first person to power this up in a while anyway. So, all right, VSET 0.1. I set 0.001. So 1 milliamp's kind of too low. I set, 0.005. Let's go 5 milliamps. Okay. Connecting voltage. Boom, sort of. Out. Okay, so that's that. All right, VSET 2. Go. All right, we are at 2 volts. We are pulling no power.
Holiday will subscribe
3.
with Prime. They've subscribed for 8
No power
months.
pull.
And says it's always a good time when the bad caps are reformed to become good caps. End of line.
Yes. Well, thank you for the 8 months there. That's 8. Thank you. I appreciate that. Let's see. All right. I'm just going to check that the voltage is actually getting to the capacitor since I'm not seeing any current pull. Should be 3. And it is. Okay. So we're putting power into the cap. It's just doing fine. Okay, VSET 5. No problems. It's just taking it. I will again call out. These are 28 volt caps. They are the same. VSET 8. I had a little bit of current pull for a moment. It'd be more fun with a knob, just saying. But to do that, I'd have to reach all the way over to there. Maybe I could put a G-pib knob right here. It just connects directly to it. That's what I need. I just need a G-pib controller. Okay, I'm gonna have the cable come out, and then I plug it in, click, and it's like one of those giant crane operator handles that comes down from the sky. You just grab it, and then you set up your G-pib equipment. That would be awesome. I'm stalling so that this can have time to dwell. How does reforming go bad? If this continues to pull current, that means that it's leaking. We are not getting any significant current pull, though.
GPIB knob. Now we're into names for chat. End of line.
Chloe, thank you for the 100 bits. Damn your Daft Punk cover band. All right. Let's go. Let's do small step, 10 volt. Boom. Had 10 milliamps current pull there for a second. Actually, that's 1. There's multiple digits. All right, VSET 12. Yeah, this thing's a champ. It's doing fine. All right, VSET 15. Doing all good. Standard user, hello. We have taken the power supply out of the DECWriter 3. I am currently manually reforming the 2 capacitors in it that seem worthwhile, but this thing was also powered on recently, so they saw full scale voltage already, so it's not really that critical. So I'm just kind of doing a good enough version of reforming here. He was doing a Shelby impression during the week because I hooked up an HP multimeter to the phone line to use GPIB to monitor. Find out, oh my gosh, Ben, you almost said some words there and they put an idea in my head that I will not be able to get out now. Thanks a lot. I need to tie GPIB equipment into the stream stuff, and then I can have Deck Talk read stuff out to me. That would be awesome. All right, let's go VSET 21. I'm just doing bumping it up by 3 each time here. Boom. All right, again, calling out. This is 28 volts. We are 7 volts away. Basically turning Deck Talk into automated number station. Yes, do it. Yeah. It's actually a very good idea. Is Cap getting warm at all? The only reason it would be getting warm is if it had massive leakage current. I guarantee you that it is the exact same temperature as the environment around it. I'm not going to touch it. I've already touched it, so I will have had an impact on it, but I will thermal camera it just for science, but it should not be different at all. Next project begins, yeah. Yeah. Cap is the one that is not even plugged in. It's just as warm as that one.
20 volts, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 milliamps, 21 volts. You get the idea. End of line.
Wesley, thank you for the 100 bits. All right, that's 21. We're going up to 28. I'm just continuously calling it out because I don't normally manually do this stuff, and I don't want to forget. Let's go VSET 24. That's 14. Clear entry, VSET 24. Yeah, Samuel, actually, that's, you're close to a good idea of why I should not use speech to text. If it misinterprets it, that would be very bad. And I don't want it to, like, ask every single time if it was correct. All right, we're just going to do one last 4-volt jump. VSET 28. Boom. There we go. Now, the reality is this probably doesn't see this voltage in actual circuit. I don't know what voltage it will be. Because 28 volts is kind of like a weird voltage. Maybe it's 24 for the solenoids. But yeah, actually it probably is 24 for the solenoids. Someone making their own AI voice. Ugh. Using Terry Crews voice now. Here, call it GPIB. Here, DECWriter, I'll just make you happy, okay? If you have an Amazon device, let's call it, Samuel L. Jackson did a voice recording for that. I don't know if you can still buy it or still use it, but he did a voice recording for the assistant, including the kind of language that he would use. All right, there we go. So now I'm going to VSET 0, and this will discharge the capacitor. So it pulled 23 milliamps for a second there and then went away. Cap should be at 0 volts, and we can swap in the other one. Yep, cap's at 0 volts. My multimeter that's off says. I will be subscribing. I mean, wait, so you're telling me if I don't do something, you'll subscribe? Okay. Yep, 0 volts. There we are. Well, the main reason I was being cagey about what I was saying is that you can actually set the wake word for that particular assistant to the brand name of the company as well. But I think if you do that, that's on you. Because that's like the worst possible word you could use. Other than computer, which is another wake word, but if you have that active while you're watching this stream, that's 100% on you. Yeah, Matt, I know, yeah. That is daft, yes. All right, cap 2, which I'm going to double check because the jacket is in a different position. Yep, okay, that's positive and negative. All righty, here we go. VSET 1 and begin. All righty, we're going to ramp this one up slowly. Samuel Jackson was discontinued in 2023. Ah, that's unfortunate.
For a Coon says
2.
CHGER 100, can you have commuter as a wake work without using in-car's interface? End of line.
Thank you for the 100 bits, Chloe. Oh, do you really want to have to listen to Pickles call everything out, DZAC? All right, VSET 5. Someone's done HAL 9000 for Piper. I have no idea. Is that to get pizza? Is that the phone voice you call in? VSET 8. Squish car would be better, yes. When are we going to power up? Actually, I don't have a deadline. If it needs to be tomorrow, it'll be tomorrow. I don't know. By the way, I do have the diode tester. I just haven't actually gotten around to using it yet. I need to get a hard case for it of some kind so I don't crack the screen myself, since I know that's a problem now. TTS engine used by... okay. Yeah, I don't want any of that stuff. I just want the smart outlets and then to manually control them. VSET. We are in 8. Let's go 11. MakerBot print? Never. I need to start Snakes and Barrels cover band. And a bunch of other projects. Oh, with the manual control? Yes, that is how I roll. Yeah. A multimeter have diode testers built in? Yeah, but they can't do Zehners to tell you what the voltage is because it's not powerful enough. VSET. I'm just going to go to 15. I typed in 14, so I guess we're going to 14. Considering trying to set up an X10 heart smartphone. Words that mean the thing you said? Yes, that would be cool. I use X10 for one thing, resetting my modem. So, and actually, I'm taking my Note 9, which has my secondary LTE line. I'm going to take that home and connect it to my server. In theory now, if I get one of the RS-232 X10 controllers, I could then wire it up to my server, and I could remotely reboot the modem from the office by using the LTE line tethered to the server. I think I only own 2 X10 RS-232 things, though. One goes into a complete set from the 90s that I don't want to break up, and the other one I don't think is complete. So I need to find one. I need an X10 RS-232 interface. VSET 17. Because, yeah, that would be sweet to be able to remote reboot using LTE as a backdoor. So some totally keep together an X10 set. Yeah, so I got it. It's complete in the box. It's it's like 1997, 98 vintage. Yeah, I don't want to break it up. It's too cool. I meant to do a video about it someday, but like right after I got it, LGR did an X10 video on the 5150. So I was like, well, that's going on a shelf for now. And then I don't remember what shelf I put it on. Unless the LTE isn't working when you want to. Well, in that case, what's the point? There's no internet anywhere. There's a Linux protocol implementation for X10 over serial. I mean, I'm just gonna like use Python to have a Flask server with a button that says reboot and then have it use PySerial to directly output the commands. So YouTube takes so long to chat because YouTube sends you a millisecond delay that you must wait before requesting another batch of chat messages. If you try and request before that delay, they still ping you for the quota and then don't send you the messages and tell you to wait again. So it's not up to me. It's up to YouTube to decide what the update interval is. What do you mean the stream is behind? Oh, well, I don't know. There's nothing I can do about that for sure. It's not like I'm delaying it. Talking about stream latency. Oh, well, I don't know. Yeah. That might be the like automatic failover stuff that I have to leave enabled because YouTube is stupid. The YouTube streaming is just shockingly half-baked still. Like I can't believe it. Anyway, VSET 20. Like how? How is it still this bad? Phew, this isn't giving me all the information that I normally get out of this, but these caps are still looking pretty good. I'm not seeing any pull over time with them, so I'm pretty convinced that they're all going to be fine. And again, since this was powered up recently, I suspect these big ones back here are also going to be fine. So I have a feeling we're good. All right, we're at 20. Our maximum is 28. I am stepping up to 23. VSET 23. Boom. Why would they make it perfectly fit? They don't need to do it. You know what the really annoying thing about this is? It's such a good idea because it makes the bottle always sealed so you can get some out without wasting it by having it be open. But then whatever is in the tube, I'm not sure if it either evaporates or if it drains back in. But this makes it always sealed too, which is also awesome. Again though, horrifying. All right, VSET 26 out of 28. Yeah, so what it probably is, Sanity and Grizzleby, is there is a setting on YouTube where you can have it automatically fail over to a black screen when you lose connection. And that's good for not automatically restarting the stream as a new VOD if my home server internet goes out, which, you know, never happens, of course. So rather than have days where there's like 6 split VODs for one stream, I have that enabled, and I'm pretty sure that adds a lot of delay. So I think that's what the problem is. All right, I am setting it to 28 out of 28 volts now. Why is the internet so bad in Phoenix? Because we live in a country that subsidized a monopoly internet service provider, and there is zero competition and zero incentive for them to improve speeds, maintain infrastructure, or generally do anything other than slowly raise prices continuously. So, welcome to America. Except for DECWriter, who lives in some kind of fictitious land and lies about his awesome internet all the time. And I know you're lying now, DZX, since I keep seeing signs around here that says, oh, fiber internet's coming. And then it never happens after years. What's your up speed then, Wesley, out of curiosity? Because mine is 100 at home now, which is awesome, but I have a gig down, so it's not like it's even close to symmetrical. Oh my gosh, I just noticed crimes on this circuit board, and you guys got to see this. Hold on, this cap's done. It's fine, whatever. VSET 0, that way it can discharge it, yada yada. You got to see these crimes. They're very crimes. All right, there we go. Power supply off. We're all good. Pull the thing out of here. Whee. Reforming cats, put face right next to it. I mean, if it was going to blow, it would have done that a long time ago. If you increased your upload 35 to 100. Wow, dude, I got that years ago. They hate you, man. So, Vorpal sword. This is not only a power supply, but a programmable load. You can just run current into it. So to discharge, I just set the voltage to 0, which puts it into load mode, and then it will discharge the cap. Deck! Can't say I've ever seen that before. What are you looking at? The resistor that's just on top of the capacitor? Like, oh no, we're not going to put it in the same through holes. We're going to put it on top. And we're just going to rely on the extremely tiny amount of jacket right here to prevent them from shorting against each other. That's great. 3D layout, yeah. In CAD, they accidentally left the other resistor on top of the capacitor, so I guess that's what they wanted.
Look, that's how we draw the discharge resistor over a cap on the schematics. We didn't need to do it like that on the board. End of line.
Chloe, thank you for the 100 bits. Ah. All right. Well, that's funny. All right. So now we just need to attach the two big caps, pop this back in, and then I think we can turn it on. More impressed with the curve of the legs on the cap. Yeah, on the I think it's a resistor. The black one. Pretty sure that was a power resistor. I bet it just comes out of the package like that. All right, so we got plus here, goes there. I don't really know why they bothered labeling them on the top. It's not like you can do anything from the top. So plus. I'll go ahead and do the other one too so I can't mess up the polarity. It always feels so weird to attach a capacitor with a screw. I don't think it'll ever feel normal. Just what? Like, let me go to McMaster Car to buy capacitors instead of DigiKey. Actually, does McMaster's have giant caps? Because maybe that would be a good source. Although, using my extremely conservative, let's call it, capacitor reforming methods. I've never lost one of the giant ones. But if the caps weren't attached to the PCB, you mean like the DECWriter 2, where they just use a cable harness? That's also weird. DEC make the power supply themselves? Let's see. Are there any markings? There's assembled in Mexico down there. That's a sticker. It's not in the copper. There's a part number digital right there in the copper. So probably. Did sometimes buy designs, but it smells like one of theirs. Yeah. Big capacitors have screw mounts? Yes, it's very weird. These are the smaller screw mount ones. There are even bigger ones. And then there is this kind. This is technically considered snap in because the terminals are like folded over. They'll frequently be bent with a ridge that pokes out. So when you push the through hole in, it pushes past and then locks in place. So technically they will stay in place without soldering, but you do need to solder them still. But allows you to like click it in and then solder it down. Again, this will never feel not weird. I have such big caps. Power sucked back then. I don't know. I mean, think about this too. This thing uses giant solenoids to ram the paper with the pins on there. It's not a low power device. Let's see if it says what the... Yeah, 270 watts on the back. And it's not linear power supply, but it's not like fancy pants modern switch mode. So... yeah, it's not linear. But it's not far after linear. Yeah, but even still, Ben, I don't think you're fitting a 1600. That's only 1600 microfarads? What? So this is higher capacitance and 1/4 of the voltage. But these giant chunky ones are just also kind of different. All right. I think that's it. Check the polarity. You know, I think I actually did put this one in incorrectly, but it doesn't matter because they go to the same spot. I think the other leg, the functional leg, actually went there, but it does not matter. All right, let's put it in. You don't need a controller. Switching controllers just to make it so you can just copy the data sheet layout. Probably RC constants. Maybe the 60 hertz. I don't know. There's lots of ways you can derive a frequency. Where'd the other one go? Oh, it's still on the floor. That's where it is. All right. Yeah. Ugh. Like, how did we make TVs with flybacks at 13 kilohertz without, ICs? So there's lots of ways to do stuff like that. Speaking of which, TVs, for those of you who don't do Discord, okay. First off, I lied on Discord slightly. Second off, not intentionally. So, I had a thought. If you saw the streams last weekend, we're using my Sony KV-2145R, and it was acting badly. Turns out some of that was because the coax cable going to the RF input got pulled and it wasn't making proper connection. So when it was fuzzing up and then wigging out, that was actually because of that, not because of anything else happening internally. So oops, but also easy to fix. I just plugged the cable in fully. Then there was a second problem. What was the second problem? I thought there was a second problem. I don't remember what it was now. But whatever the other problem was, it's also not currently a concern. Why did you use RF input? Because that's the only RF input, or that's the only input on a television from 1981. So it was wireless RF, yeah. Oh, I know what the other thing is. 1981 does not have TTL RGB. It's not how it works. You'll know everyone who RGB mods a television and it has an on-screen display. The other thing was the lines from the RF modulator in the screen. I don't think they are that, because I changed out the RF modulator with the VCR and I noticed the lines were still there. I think this is the first television I have ever seen the aperture grill connecting lines on for a Trinitron. I think that's what it is. now that I've solved a lot more signal quality issues, I think that it's probably that. So the only problem remaining now is the one horizontal collapse that happened, but that still could have been a bad RF modulator, so I don't know. Well, a BNC is not a video format. BNC is just a connector. That could have been RF or composite. Not in the US, it wasn't. I'm a cat. Actually, I would believe SCART was more likely to be found on older televisions, but still, it was never a standard. All right. Still Trinitron, not bad. No, actually, the video quality of the KV-2145R is insanely good. Like, ridiculously so good. So, I'm not complaining. I will take the aperture grill connecting wires, if that's what it takes to use that. All right, I think that's it. There's no reason I couldn't leave this like this, except that it keeps falling off, so I don't really want to do that. So let's try and cram this back in here again. You know what? Before I mess with this too much, this particular plate is really poorly coated on the backside. And last time I was messing with this, I regretted not wearing gloves. So I'm gonna put gloves on this time. Why are these funny colored? What did I do? That's weird. All right, we already have the thermal camera out for when we get to that. Yeah, that's way better. Okay, so we stick this in, and then it has this, like, locking thing. It's kind of weird and, like, excessively well designed. That's not it. You go over more still. There we go. All right. There. The other weird thing is that that's all that holds this in place. So this isn't actually like firmly attached. It's just that. I can't see a reason not to power this now. All right. There are more screws, but those go onto the case, so, or the plastic cladding, whatever. So we're not touching that. All right. Power cable. I was in another tab and had to frantically scroll back to this one in time. Oh, we're about to plug it in, but you got a second or so. All right. I'm plugging this into the breaker that keeps getting reset every night for some reason. So if it does not have a happy time, I'll probably be fine. Can we connect it to a computer nearby? That will probably have to be tomorrow. Don't think we'll do that today, even if this does work. We'll just use that as a typewriter. All right, there's that. Let me verify that this is running there. Okay. This is getting plugged in, but the power strip is off. All right. Power switch on this, off position. Gonna set up the thermal camera, and you know what? I had the idea, I'm kind of feeling like I want my eyeballs to continue to work. All right, getting the thermal camera ready so I can observe. Well, I gotta wait for the thermal camera to figure stuff out. There we go. Okay. Thermally. All right. That's that. Here we go. Power to strip. Set this to wattage. And here we go. It's not happy. Oh my gosh, those bubble LEDs are glorious. Something's not right though. It didn't home. Why would it? Let me make sure it still moves. You know, it might not actually. Hold on, that stuck a lot. Is this one gonna be? No, that one's good. Okay, let me try that one more time. Did you defeat the cover interlock? No. Good point. There we go. All right, take two. Ooh. I think we might be good. That's not necessarily a problem. Could be in full duplex. Nothing back here is looking bad. I can't see it in the power supply because it's a box. Head is not going to town. I think we're okay. Okay. Let me see if I can figure out half duplex. Local form feed. Ooh, lots of spin. That's good. Brains are working. I gotta restart this thing though, so you guys can appreciate the majesty of these LED 7-segment displays. These are glorious. And all the segments, I believe, are working. Yes. Oh, that's curious. Ooh. What's the deal with that? So it was not properly resetting.
100. End of line.
Thank you for the 100 bits, Ben. It did not properly home. Oh, that time it did. Weird. Okay, so there might be a sensor thing. It's possible I messed this up or something. I don't know. Okay. Line, local. Oh! Well, there we go. Not smelling anything weird. It's drawing 68 watts, so that all seems pretty normal. We will have a dead bad ribbon in here, so don't expect any miracles here. Line feed. Has auto repeat. Interesting. I'm going to go down. Okay. Ooh. It tried to home and it failed. Okay. What is home? There's no switches. Okay, I'm going to just see if I can do it. Local. Yeah, it's not liking homing somehow. That's weird. Okay. All right, we need to figure out what the homing mechanism is. Switch could be on the head. I don't think it is. Yeah, we need to figure that out. It's possible, but I just need to adjust some stuff over here, though. Like, hey, this is looking really good. Good for your home, yeah. All right. I am incredibly optimistic about this now. It did attempt to type, but this ribbon is garbage, and yeah, we're not going to get anything out of this. This thing's going to work. This is absolutely going to work. So that is awesome. Trying to fix the home sensor is like the easiest problem we could have to deal with. I am not even slightly concerned about that. So I am super excited. We are totally going to get this thing running. Thankfully, it wasn't as agonizing as the other one. It's on the badge left of the keyboard. A bunch of config setup nonsense that we can't utilize yet. All right. Well, we are at the end of stream now. I need to connect to my server. Let's fire this up. Let's see. Yeah, Ketchup, I am very excited. It's absolutely gonna work. It's just gonna need a couple more things here and there sorted out first, but it should totally work. So, all right. Fun thing. Look, it's the thumbnail! Yay! Yeah, I set it up so I could just point the camera at something and make a thumbnail now, so that's gonna be a lot easier. So often I'm trying to figure out, like, what's the quickest way I can get a photo from my phone to my server, and you'd think, oh, you have Nextcloud. Doesn't that automatically upload your photos? When it wants to, it's not very consistent about it. So when I want a photo now, I usually upload it through Google Photos, but I'm trying to not use that anymore. But anyway, that's going to be it for now. Well, that was some huge progress for that. I'm really, really excited. We should totally be able to get the DECWriter 3 working. And it has RS-232, so that should be a cakewalk. Yeah. This is definitely going to work. I wasn't looking for suggestions, by the way. I know there are a billion different ways to send files like that. Pointing the camera at something and clicking take screenshot with the server side is just going to be the easiest thing. Literally nothing is going to beat that. Yeah, so anyway, that's it for now. If you guys enjoyed this stream, you may want to follow to be notified when I go live again next. If you want to help support the channel, you can find me on Patreon. But for now, that's it. And the printer button is hidden. Where is it? Come back. I need you. Where are you hiding? I actually don't know where it is. There it is. All right. That's it for now, and I will see you all next time.